usual day for our Dhamma discussion. I thought to take some beginning with the Buddha himself. We have to have a clear understanding about our master first before we go to his teachings. And we have to clarify this term, the Buddha. Who is this? Why is such a term generated in the world? What is the background behind this special type of human being? Now, we all know that he was born as a human being, just like us. Yeah. He was born as a prince. He lived as a prince, and he saw certain sights that he understood the nature of this life, that every life ends in old age, in sicknesses, and every life ends in death. Irrelevant of being a prince, a king, or a beggar, a learned, non-learned, wise, stupid, irrelevant of any of these, every life ends becoming old, getting sick, and ultimately getting into the death. So these three sides caused him to fed up with all the luxuries, all the comfortable environment that he had, and he gave up everything at the age of 29. He left his palace, he left all the luxuries, and he became an ascetic. And he practiced in the sense of searching for a solution. For what? For the solution of getting old, getting sick, and for the solution to the death. He was searching. For 6 years, he did his best effort to find the solution, and ultimately he found it. He found in the sense that he overcame all these sufferings, and he found the method to stop coming into this body again. Stop getting into the process of rebirth again. Now, after he found it, he was transformed by that finding. That transformation we call the enlightenment. Once he was enlightened, now he cannot be called either a human being or a divine being, or we cannot give any other name to this transformed personality. He is a completely different to every or any kind of personality we are known to this in this world. He is a completely different person. He is only to be called the Buddha, the Tathagata, the Bhagavan. No other word is relevant to him. One day, he was sitting under a tree. A Brahmin, you know who are the Brahmins, huh? The highest caste in India. And they are the educated guys those days. They are the educated ones. They knew, when they look at a person, they knew how to tell the character, how to tell the life of that person. They had this qualification to do that. Just looking at a person, they can tell and predict about that person, what kind of person this is, and what kind of person this person going to be. They had this education. And this Brahmin saw the footprint of the Buddha. And when he looked around, he found the owner of the footprint is sitting under a tree. And he reached the Buddha. He was so curious. Who is this? This is a very strange type of footprint. I have never seen such a footprint before. Who is this person? Then he reached the Buddha and asked him, who are you? Are you a human being? And the Buddha said, sorry, no, you cannot call me a human being. Are you a divine being? An angel? A deva? No, you cannot call me that I am a divine being. No, I am not a divine being. Are you a Gandhabba? Gandhabba is the musician of the divine realms. Are you such a divine musician? No, I am not. Then he was getting a little angry. Are you a demon? No, I am not a demon. Then he was very angry. Are you an animal? No, I am not even an animal. Then who are you? Then the Buddha said, I am just the awakening. I am just the enlightenment. You can call me the Bhagavan, the Tathagata, the Buddha. No other name is relevant to me. Because all the defilements, weaknesses, all kinds of cankers that the humans, divine beings, or Gandhabas, those divine musicians, any other being in this world, what they are possess, I don't possess. What do they possess? They possess defilements. They possess greed, hatred, delusion. They possess all those defilements. I don't possess any of them. I am free of them. Since I am free of all those defilements, you cannot call me a human being, a deva, a Gandhabba, or any other name. I am just the enlightenment. I am a Buddha. I am like a lotus. I was born in the world. I was raised just as you were raised. I was also raised. But I am not living in the world or of the world. I am above the world. I am living in the world, but I don't belong to the world. I am like a lotus flower, born in the mud, grown in the mud, but bloomed without touching the mud, away from the mud. I am just like that lotus flower. That is why we always keep the lotus flower and the Buddha together. When we have a Buddha image, we usually put a lotus flower shape below the Buddha image as if he is sitting on the lotus flower. Because his life is just like that lotus flower. Born in the mud, raised in the mud, living in the mud, but not belong to the mud. Buddha also just like that. Right? So Buddha is the person, is not a kind of a name that is given to someone when he is born. Buddha is a generic term. Buddha is a term to indicate a status of a person who went beyond this world, who went beyond this humanity, beyond these defilements, and became completely liberated. Now this is something that we have to understand. Now, there are 3 types of Buddha in the world. First one, student Buddhas. We call them what? Arahant. Arahant. Now, if you can call them Anubuddha, that also can be used. Anubuddha. Because these students, they become enlightened by following a teacher. Who is the teacher? Sammā Sambuddha. If you translate, you can have several types of translations. For your convenience, you can say them the universal Buddhas. Sammā Sambuddha. The universal Buddhas. So universal Buddhas are the teachers and Arahants. Student Buddhas are the students. Now remember, enlightenment is similar or equal for the universal Buddhas as well as the student Buddhas. The difference is in the adjective. Sammā Sambuddha, who got enlightened without being supported, without being directed, taught, without being helped by anyone. They got enlightened by finding the path themselves, and they are so kind of genius that they can teach others how to get the enlightenment. That is why they are so special. Sammā Sambuddhas are very rare. Universal Buddhas are very rare to find. Only once in a while. Only once in a very rarely that we get such a teacher. And we got this master this time. He is called Gotama the Buddha. Gotama the Sammā Sambuddha. Gotama the universal Buddha, who was born 529 BC, right? 526 before Jesus Christ, yeah? 526 years before Jesus Christ he was born, yeah? Nearly 600 years. And as soon as he was enlightened, he started sharing his enlightenment with the people. Whoever is capable of accepting his teaching, following his teaching, and get the enlightenment, as the Buddha himself, as the universal Buddha himself, they are called the Buddhas, the students. Right? These are the 2 types. Buddhas, the students. Buddhas, the teachers or universal Buddhas. in between these universal Buddhas and the student Buddhas, there is another type of Buddha called Buddhas the private. They are not so public. Yeah? Why they are called private Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas? Because they cannot teach. They got enlightened, but they have no capacity to teach. They don't know how to guide others to get enlightened. Yeah. It is special only for the Sammā Sambuddha. Teaching is special for them, not for the private Buddhas, not for the Pacceka Buddhas. Remember, these private Buddhas also get enlightened on their own. They don't have teachers. They arise in the times where the Buddhism is no more. They arise in those times that the Buddhism has already vanished. They get enlightened, but they just passed away. They spend their lifespan after the enlightenment and pass away. Nobody knows, because they cannot teach. No students. So these are the triple types of Buddhas. Arahants, Buddhas, the students. Then the Pacceka Buddhas, Buddhas the private. Then comes the universal Buddhas, Sammā Sambuddha. Arahants, Pacceka Buddhas, Sammā Sambuddhas. Remember, enlightenment is equal in all these Buddhas. They have stopped this birth and death process, this cycle of birth and death. They have stopped. They are no more to come back to this physical body again. Rebirth is no more for them. The difference is student Buddhas, they are students. They were guided by the Sammā Sambuddhas. And the other Buddhas, the private, they got enlightened on their own, but they cannot teach. So because of these different achievements, we have given the different names for them. Okay? Now, there are 10 paramis, 10 perfections. 10 paramis that you have to cultivate, develop, if you are to become one day enlightened. Right? Now these 10 paramis, dana, generosity, sila, morality, nekkhamma, renunciation, panya, wisdom, virya, effort, khanti, patience, satya, truthfulness, upekha, equanimity. These 10 perfections have to be practiced in the triple manner if you are to become a perfectly enlightened one or Sammā Sambuddha. So therefore, these 10 perfections called parami have to be practiced as upaparami and paramatta parami. Parami, upaparami, paramatta parami. The people who practiced on only the parami level, they can become arahants. Now, there is a Buddha to happen in the future. What is that Buddha's name? Anybody? Maitreya. Buddha the Maitreya. The universal Buddha the Maitreya. If you are to become enlightened under this Maitreya Buddha and end up this journey of suffering, you have to fulfill these 10 perfections in the first level. I'm not going to explain those things, because the topic is about the Buddha today. Just to remember. Yeah. First level, these 10 perfections have to be fulfilled. For you to become an Arahant, student Buddha. See, you have to be ready for the Buddha. Only then the Buddha can guide you to get rid of those defilements and get enlightened. Then if somebody happens to be or wants to be a Pacceka Buddha, Buddha the private, he has to fulfill these 10 perfections in two manners, that is Parami and Upaparami. The second category they have to fulfill for them to become a Pacceka Buddhas. Okay? The third category, Sammā Sambuddhas, the Buddhas, the universal, for them to become a Sammā Sambuddha, they have to fulfill the triple categories, that is the 10 paramis multiplied by 3. How many times? 30. 30. Right? They have to fulfill this 30 manner, those 10 paramis, for them to become a perfect Buddha, Sammā Sambuddha. Okay? Now, you may have heard, usually for us it is normal, that how long that the Gotama the Buddha practiced. How long did he practice? Usually we say Chatura Sankhya Kalpalakshayak. Yeah, in Sinhala we say. That means eons, kalpa, eons. 400,000 incalculable eons. What is this eon? Right? Let's understand this a bit. What is an eon? Now there is 3 types of eons. First one is Anantara Kappa. Anantara Kappa is the lifetime of a human being. Lifetime of a human being. Now, during the Buddha's time, when the Buddha was there, when he was alive, the lifetime of a human being was 120. Nowadays it is gone down, right? It is like 100. It depends. It depends, right? Of course, most of the people very rarely reach this century, right? But they consider like 90, 80, that is the lifetime of a human being. So, Kappa or the Anantara Kappa, the eon of humanity these days, limited to 80 or 90. Okay? The second type of eon is incalculable eon. That is Asankheya Kappa, that you cannot measure. Now, incalculable eon is similar to 20 Anantara Kappa. 20 human eons similar to one incalculable eon. Okay? Then comes the Maha Kappa, the great eon. The great eon is 4 incalculable eons similar to one great eon. Now, Gotama the Buddha, how long did he practice, we say? 400,000 incalculable eons. That means we know how long now, right? We can have a picture. 20 human eons. We do not know because how long that human eon is, because time to time this human longevity of the humanity is changing. Now it is going down. According to the Buddhist commentaries, it says the human eons going down until the age of 10. Yeah? One day human lifetime will be like 10 years. Right? And then again it will rise up sometimes to thousands of years. It is there in the text. Cannot believe, right? Can you believe a human living for thousands of years, 80,000 of years? Can you believe? Yeah? We cannot believe. What did the Buddha teach us to treat? How to treat something we cannot believe, cannot accept, cannot understand? What did the Buddha say? How to treat? How to treat something that you cannot understand? Buddha says, don't deny, don't say no, and don't say yes, don't accept. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah? Who knows? One day you will be able to understand it. If you deny it, if you reject it, if you say no, that is nonsense, then what happened? You are getting rid of an opportunity for you to one day to understand it. So don't deny. When something is told to you by somebody and you cannot understand or cannot accept it, without saying no or yes, you say, okay, we'll see. Yeah. That is how Buddha taught us to treat those things that we cannot accept and cannot understand. Now, in the Buddhist text, there is this teaching that in the future, human life, the times of the human life will go down until the age of 10. Yeah? There will be grandfathers age of 10. Yeah? And again this human lifetime will go up until the thousands of years. This is how the fluctuation of lifetime of the humanity happens. Now, so we do not know, or we cannot calculate an exact interim eons, or the eons of the human lifetime is something that we cannot calculate as something exact, right? So anyway, incalculable eons, one incalculable eon is 20 human eons. Can you remember? Yeah? 20 human eons similar to one incalculable eon. Okay. So Buddha the Gotama, the universal Buddha, practiced 400,000 eons. What did he practice? He fulfilled the 30 types of perfections, that 10 types of perfections multiplied by 3, 30 types. 30 types of perfections he fulfilled in 400,000 incalculable eons. Do you understand this? Yeah. So we can understand how long, from life to life, he was practicing continuously to get this full perfection as Sammā Sambuddha. Right? Now, even Sammā Sambuddhas are 3 types. The first one is Saddhādika Bodhisattvas. Saddhādika Bodhisattvas. Their practice is based on faith, confidence. This Saddha you know, right? Saddha is faith. These Bodhisattvas, these beings who aspire to become a perfect Buddhas, they practice based on faith, Saddha, confidence. Their practice is based on confidence. The second type of Bodhisattva who is going to become a perfect Buddha in the future is practicing based on effort, virya, effort. So they are called Viryadika Bodhisattva. Okay? The third type is the Bodhisattva who is going to become universal Buddhas, Sammā Sambuddhas. They practice based on wisdom, Panya. They are called Panyadika Bodhisattva. So these triple types of Bodhisattva who is going to become perfect Buddhas in the future. One Bodhisattva practiced on confidence or faith, Saddha. The second one practiced on effort, Virya. The third one practiced on wisdom, Panya. Who will be the shortest time, or who will be having the shortest time of practice in their fulfillment of perfections, fulfillment of parami? Who will be the shortest? Panya, wisdom. The Bodhisattva who is based on wisdom will be having the shortest eons for him to fulfill the perfections. How many eons? 400,000 eons. So the Gotama the Buddha, when he was practicing, he always kept wisdom behind his practice. That is why his practice was limited to 400,000 eons. Now Viryadika Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva based on effort. He has to practice 800,000 eons. 800,000 eons. The future Buddha, Buddha the Maitreya, remember, he is based on effort. Actually, he had started practicing even before the Gotama the Buddha, but he had to practice 800,000 eons, so he is still waiting to be enlightened. The future Buddha. Now there is this beautiful story in Tibet, not in the Theravada Buddhism, in the Vajrayana Buddhism. The story is that these two Bodhisattvas were practicing. Who are they? The Gautama Bodhisattva and the Maitreya Bodhisattva. They were practicing in the Himalaya. And suddenly they heard a sound, and when they searched, they found that a tigress has fallen into a pit with her cubs. With her cubs, the tigress has fallen into a pit. Now that this tigress is so hungry, she cannot tolerate this hunger anymore. She is about to eat her cubs, eat her babies now. Now these Bodhisattvas wanted to stop this. Somehow, stop this. Then the Maitreya Bodhisattva said, wait. Let me go and find a carcass of an animal, dead animal, and bring it, and stop this tigress eating the cubs. And the Gautama Bodhisattva waiting, watching it. Then he found the Maitreya Bodhisattva is lost somewhere. He is so late. Now the tigress is going to eat, just about to eat. Then what did he do? He just jumped into the pit. He did not wait for the Maitreya anymore. He just jumped into the pit, offering himself as the food for the tigress. Then Maitreya Bodhisattva came. Then he saw what happened. Then he said, okay, the one who wants to become quick, let him become enlightened first. I will be later. I will do it later. Yeah. This is a story in the Tibet, the Vajrayana story. Do you know the Lamas, Dalai Lama, the Vajrayana Buddhism? So somehow this Maitri Bodhisattva is based on effort. That is why he is going to become a Buddha in the future after practicing how many years? 800,000 years. You multiply this 20 times because 20 human years is one incalculable eon. You have to multiply how many human lifetimes they have been practicing. Yeah? Then comes the Saddhadika Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva who practiced based on confidence, Saddha, confidence. They have to practice 1600,000 years. 1600,000 years they have to practice. They are the longest. So the shortest path is the wisdom path. Wisdom. Development of this wisdom is the path to get closer to the Nibbana. Yeah? Now in Buddhism, Buddha says you have to balance this confidence, faith and wisdom. If you do not balance it, you cannot go anywhere. So these 10 perfections to be fulfilled, balancing the wisdom and faith. You have to balance it. We can see when people do offerings to the Buddha. Some people do offerings to the Buddha. They have so much of confidence, but very little wisdom. Yeah. In our temples, in Sri Lanka, usually when you want to offer something to the Buddha, there are utensils, to use. You don't need to destroy anything or pollute anything, but you can use those utensils. But those devotees, some of those devotees, they have so much of devotion and very little wisdom towards the Buddha. The way they do offerings pollute the whole area. Sometimes we find hoppers on the hands of the Buddha. Yeah, you know hoppers, right? You know, right? Now I don't have time to explain hoppers. Yeah, the kind of food we find, sometimes we find on the hands of the Buddha, because they want to make sure that the Buddha eat the food. Yeah, the food they offer to the hand itself to the Buddha. Yeah, there's this story. One day a monk was passing a devotee who is sweeping the temple compound in the evening, and this devotee felt so respectful towards this monk. She wanted to pay her respect towards the monk. She was sweeping the compound with a broom, and she found that there is nowhere to lean this broom against. So what did she do is that she leaned the broom against the monk and then she bowed down to the monk. This is what happened when you have too much faith and very little wisdom. Yeah. So, how to balance it? How to balance it? So wisdom and confidence must be balanced to practice these 10 perfections. Then that practice is faster, quicker. Right? So these are the things that I tried to explain to you. How these 10 perfections were practiced by the Buddha, and the time and the way he practiced to get enlightened.